All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out so everybody can join in here. 1 second. Boom. All right, we are live. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. So today is Tuesday, May the 5th, 2020. So isn't today Revenge of the 5th after May the 4th be with you? So May the 4th be with you. So anyway, so today we are continuing our conversation on day trading channel types. So today is going to be a cool one, right? We're going to talk about another indicator, so channel type using the TTMSqueeze. This is a popular one. I know a lot of folks like using this one. This is John Carter's tool, licensed study in Thinkorswim. You can find it elsewhere too. And we're going to talk about that one tonight. Before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So before we get started, we're going to go through the. We're going to take a look at the market here. We'll look at the futures, and then we'll get to the topic, and then we'll take questions and chart requests. So let's check out and see where we are in the market today. So here's the S&P cash. All right, so the SPX here. So we're basically have a double inside month right now. Last month was awesome, right? April, huge recovery off of the Corona crash move, right? If we get our Fibonacci on here, we do our retracement. Right? We got 61.8 retracement. From that whole crash move, just in the last month's time frame after the move off of the at the end of March, and closed over the mid Bollinger Band here on the monthly. And this month here, we're just below. We were over it this morning, and we pushed back below it today. So last week we had a kind of an ominous upper shadow shooting star on the weekly chart. We filled that open gap last week, and we couldn't get really too far within the prior inside week range. And here we are, still below the 30 weekly moving average with this upper shadow, this shooting star that we're contending with this week. We started below it, and then they rallied up. So for 2 days, we kind of pushed a little bit. Today we're up 25, and right now it's just kind of showing a green spinning top so far on the week. Daily chart. Okay, things are getting interesting, right? So we talked about this a couple times here today. So today's range is actually 34 points. Okay, so on the SPX, so one of the more narrow range, 34.83 was a couple days ago, 30.68. Okay, so it's one of the more narrow ranges right here, 39. I think this could be one of the narrowest ranges since the Corona crash. So I think it is. Today was one of the narrowest ranges today. So if it felt choppy today, it's because it was. All right, it was a narrow range day today. So ended up with an upper shadow because Clarita spoke and the market broke, and that happened today. We'll take a look at that in a minute here. But anyway, pretty interesting stuff, right? So one of the things we talk about on the lunchtime and the market wrap videos is that this is where we are, right? We're kind of in this this chop zone, right? We've had a kind of a interesting move up, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, maybe, right? Maybe it'll continue to work its way up, but we're still in this kind of congestion zone. So let's see where that takes us going into the rest of the week here. So upper shadow today, still holding the 8 moving average on that one. Let's take a look at the price action here today on the 15-minute chart. So we gapped and we chopped. Okay, so it wasn't as choppy as yesterday, but it was still pretty choppy. We had a nice gap up today, so a little bit of a gap and go at the open. We pushed over the 15 orb today, then we came back down, held it. I love the inside 15 right here. This ended up being an outside bar, nice hammer, and that brought us up out of that 15 orb high and took us higher today. So that was pretty good. And then we chopped around for a bit again. Forming the first top of the day, a little tweezer top right here for a pullback here to the ADMA on the 15, right? And then we came back up again, got close to the top here, tried to make its first move down. It was like, nope. And then we had this beautiful inside 15 right here. This actually happened again tonight. We'll take a look at that on the futures here. Great setup, guys. Bullish candle, inside bar down, reclaims, bullish candle, inside bar flush. Just a beautiful move here off the double top there. So what happened today, right, is we had this geometric line that was going just like this today. So everything's hunky-dory, right? But look at this. Remember we talked about this a couple times? Shoulders, head, shoulders, flush. Okay, so that is exactly what happened today on the intraday price action. Let's take a look at the at today's levels. These are the levels that we provide to our members before each market opens. So let's get those up here. Okay, so you can see how well these levels played out, right? Once you have these in store, right, we had that open gap above, right? So if you go back to the daily chart, let's take a look at that real quick. So you go back to the daily chart, we had this open gap right here. So that was a key level today, right? And so here you can see that was a good target today. So we filled that gap today, and we just couldn't do anything above it, right? So we had this nice move right here, and once again, we had the Clarita crash right there. So he's talking to, and so there you go. There's your shoulders, your head, kind of a funky little double shoulder right there, and then it worked its way down. When you get to when we talk about our topic tonight, we'll talk about kind of how that is a way you could have kind of keyed into this potential break to the downside. So anyway, cool stuff today. So that gave a nice move down. Came back down through the 15 orb high, right? Tagged the 15 orb low, right? Tested the R2 level, and then flushed down after that. So let's take a look at the futures here and see what they did here tonight. Okay, so now we're down only about like 5 points right now, but it's been an interesting evening, right? So we pushed up a little bit, we broke up over the initial move, right? Kind of chopped around up here, and then we had the exact same thing here. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. So on the 5, you can't really see the inside 5s right here. So let me get the inside script on here 1 second. Let's get some yellow candles on here so you can see what I'm talking about. That should do the trick right there, because this is just what we were talking about before, right? So bullish, inside candle down. This is what we saw earlier today, right? So we had that on the 15, right? Bullish, inside 5 down, came back up, reclaimed bullish, inside 5 down, double top, and then it was just toast after that this evening, right? So we got a nice flush down right there this evening, so that ended up being good. Little bear flag pennant right here, and then one final flush. Right now it's trying to reclaim a little bit right now, so pretty cool stuff. It got back to the from the high to the low, got back to that 38.2 retracement, and kind of worked its way down a little bit after that. So pretty cool stuff. So we're down 5 right now. Let's see where we end up into tomorrow with that. So okay, good. So tonight we are going to. This is fun, right? So tonight we're going to be talking about channel types, and today we're going to be using the tool, the TTMSqueeze, right? If you use TradingView, you should be able to find it in there. It's also a built-in tool into TOS from John Carter's studies. He invented the tool itself, which includes the momentum indicator in it, but the actual squeeze that he's talking about is a combination of what we talked about the last 2 days. Okay, so if we go back here to our daily chart. Okay, so here's the daily chart. I'm going to remove this open interest. Okay, and so I'm going to put up, this is what we talked about the first area. We talked about the Bollinger Bands. Okay, so day 1, we talked about Bollinger Bands. Okay, cool stuff. Bollinger Bands are fun. Okay, so those are the bands, right? So what's the TTM squeeze? And then yesterday we talked about the Keltner channels. Okay, so Keltner channels, I did a little research on this just to kind of see exactly how they use the TTM. But so with the Keltner channels, I'm going to switch this to the 20 with the 1.5 ATR. So I'm just going to switch that to 20. Okay. So you can see it up here at the top, right? You can see it's jumping around. The Bollinger Bands are 20 and Keltner is 20. You can see 0, 1.5, and 20. Okay, so those are the settings right there. So what's going on here? This looks like a mess. This looks a mess. Tons of indicators, though, but what's really happening right here? So what happens is we know that the difference between the... notice how the middle line is exactly the same, right? I set these both to 20. So both of these are simple moving averages on the Keltner and the Bollinger Band. So that's your 20 moving average right in the middle. Okay. So what are these other ones, right? So we have the standard deviation, right? On the Bollinger Bands, we have a 2 standard deviation, right? So it uses standard deviation. That's why it gets all funky, right? When things start moving. But remember, the Keltner gives a smoother move because it uses an ATR. Okay, the average true range over the last, in this case, right, over the last 20. Okay, so it gives a little bit of a smoother, type move on it. Okay, so what's going on here? What's the deal with this? Why do we make such a mess here? All right, so the reason is because this tool is pretty cool. What happens is when the Bollinger Band goes inside the Keltner channel, that is how they define the squeeze is on, right? So that means we're getting really tight. Right, that means both the Keltner channel is tight and at least the Bollinger Band's getting tight in that Keltner channel. All right, it's tight enough to get those Bollinger Bands in it. And so what that represents right here is the squeeze, right? And so the idea is that when the Bollinger Band breaks out of the Keltner channel, like this, we zoom in right here. So when that Bollinger Band gets in here, we're in the squeeze. When it breaks out of the Keltner channel, whichever direction it breaks out on, that's the squeeze up, right? So you can see here, we broke out of there, and there's your long move to the upside, right? So it gave a decent move here from the breakout. Figure 3172. And keep in mind, this is the daily chart, right? And it worked its way up all the way up to 32.54, almost a 100-point move on the futures based on that squeeze in there, right? How the Bollinger Band squeezed inside the Keltner channel. Okay, so I think it did a little bit here, just kind of tagged it, right? You got a little bit of a squeeze out of there. But here's what happened again down here. Okay, we squeeze. You can see how the Bollinger Bands crossed the orange crossed through the blue. The orange crossed through the blue. Okay, that's a squeeze. So the squeeze is on, and then it broke out of the upper Keltner channel. And once it did that, right, you expect a little move up. It's a choppy move up, but ultimately, once that broke out right here, you can see that got from 27.83. Within a couple days, it got up to 28.43. Okay, so not too bad, right? So a 60-point move right there, and then it ultimately got up to 28.61. Okay, so not too bad. So 70-point move out of there off of that. But now it wasn't easy, right? It was some big pullbacks. Some of these ranges were like 100 points, right? So anyway, so something to keep an eye on right there. But pretty cool stuff, right? So that's what this is. Okay, so that is the squeeze. Okay, so what John Carter did is he turned it into an indicator, and all you got to do is you pull up the TTMSqueeze on that one. Okay, so you just go up studies here, edit studies, and just type in TTM. It's got a few of them in there, but you just click the squeeze in there, and it's got the exact settings of this, right? And so you can see what happened right here. So what happens is when that squeeze initiates, right, when those Bollinger Bands go inside the Keltner channels, this little indicator right here, this middle indicator here, which is green dots or red dots. If it's green, it's outside of the squeeze. If it's red, those Bollinger Bands went inside the Keltner channel. Okay, so the squeeze is on right there. So this way you don't have to have all this mess up here of all these, all those channels up there. Okay, and then here, remember we squeezed in again right here. Boom, you got the squeeze on right there. So it shows you when you're in the squeeze, and what they do is, what he looks for is the squeeze is released when the next one's green, right? And you just kind of follow the momentum. The momentum is going to show you which way it broke to the to the upside, right? So you can kind of raise it until you kind of follow that the best you can until it changes color, right? So it went light blue, and when it hit dark blue, that's trend is definitely starting to switch around, right? Momentum here, it shows you we definitely flushed to the downside after that one. You can see we went blue to red. Some people trade off of that, right? And you can see then again here, right now, it was you missed a big move off of this one. You can see we kind of peaked out on the bottom of the momentum right here, but here again we squeezed right there. Okay, so you can see where that squeeze was here, and then once the squeeze was released, that's where they look for an entry, and it takes you to the upside right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this out here. I'm going to take out the two channels, and now you can kind of see it a little bit more clearly. Kind of the setups right here. So this candle right here was the squeeze. Once it was released, that's where they look for the entry, right? And you can move all the way until it switches from high to low, right? So there's your move. You get an entry here, like we said, 27.82, all the way up to 28.71. Okay, so nice move off of that one. Same thing here. You got the squeeze here. Okay, there, right, and it came all the way up to about here before it turned before it changed colors. And that's a good place to get out, right, when it changed colors, because the market just completely flushed. So now, is it the most amazing tool in the world? No. Is it great for swing trading? Not necessarily. I think this is really difficult, right? I think it's a good tool to have to help build confidence to say like, hey, I think this is going up. But you can see it misses a lot of the big moves, right? This is where you need stuff that we talk about all the time. It's where you need your trend lines, right? We confirm below it. That's just getting into the price action and putting lines on charts is what does the trick, right? And then also looking for key candlestick setups. But pretty cool stuff right there. So that's the TTMSqueeze in a nutshell. And let's take a look at it and just kind of look at it real quick here on the intraday basis. Now I do like it on the intraday basis. It is kind of neat. We're so used to drawing triangles in the group that we really don't need it. But sometimes when things get compressed, sometimes we take our eyes off of it, and just it's nice to have like a little indicator there to kind of show you what's happening. So today you can kind of see a couple things that were pretty neat, right? So today we had initially today we started out with this triangle type move, and we broke out of the triangle, right? And it actually failed. I traded this. I got basically a break-even profit on this thing before it pulled back, right, and tagged the top of the triangle and then went. Right, and so that's a little, it can be a little bit frustrating, but it was a tricky open because we were so choppy this morning that it's okay, take profit and then just, and then it launched. So, but what happens is if you add the TTMSqueeze on here today, let me add that here on the intraday. So it's pretty cool, right? So we are actually, even though we're getting tight here on the triangle, and I would normally look for a breakout on this, the squeeze really didn't start until here, right? And it didn't break out until here, which is kind of cool, right? You're in an inside 5. Right, nice candlestick setup right here, and that gave you a good level to try to take long, right? So if you get it long over here, right, you get a nice little move up here, right? 288.75 for a nice pop there, right? And then it just pulled back to that level again and kind of worked its way up. So that was outside of that squeeze right there. And then we were tracking this geometric line today, right? So that head and shoulders type setup right here, and look what happened right before we broke down. We got really tight right here, right? It started to squeeze. So here on the 5-minute chart, you squeeze, right? Got tight up in this range. And then, boom, move to the downside, right? So now, do you miss a big portion of the move? You sure do. But if you go to the 1 minute chart, this is how we like to take entries. Okay, so this was pretty nice right here. So my entry would have been off of this candle anyway, right? Because we broke down through the geometric line. So this gives you a nice confirmation that, hey, maybe this thing is really starting to move, right? So we went green here on this, right? The squeeze was released right here. I would have entered, right? This was the entry off of this candle, right? And so that gave us a nice move right there. Pushed down, hit the 15 warp high, right? Gave you a bear flag, right? And was continuing to work its way down, right? So this, when it turned yellow right here, it's a good place to take profit. It was still continuing to work its way down today. So this gives you kind of a cool indication of when sometimes these geometric lines break on the intraday period. So do you want to follow each one of them? No, right? So here, did this work? Kinda, sorta, right? Did this one work? Kinda, sorta, right? You really have to, one of the things we look at is, especially in the 1 minute chart, we talk about this a lot, right? The bigger the geometric level, the bigger the break, right? So we have this big trend line up all day, and we finally got a squeeze out of that trend line. Then, I mean, what a great signal to move on that one, right? So if you take each one of these all the time, right, you could get chopped up. I mean, it just is what it is. It's just an indicator, right? But when it corresponds with like some cool geometric levels right here, because that ended up turning into a bull flag, then you had that bull flag break, right? And that gave you a decent move to the upside, right? Here you got really tight in here, obviously, right? Got a little nice little kind of tight move right here, and then boom, it squeezes to the upside, right? That type of stuff. So is it perfect? No. But is it cool? Yeah. So it's just another thing that can help you identify potential breakout moves either on the intraday time frame or even on the daily time frame if you're looking to for some interesting swing setups. But I do like making sure it corresponds with a big geometric level or one of our triangle type moves intraday. So anyway, good stuff, guys. So at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get an awesome night's sleep and then have another great trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. All right, good stuff. So let's see. So we got a few in here. So Scott sent a few in through Twitter. So let's go to the daily chart here. All right, so daily chart. What a day today. Okay, so let's take a look. So Scott, we've got Disney. So Disney had earnings tonight. Disney did not have a pretty day today, right? So it had an upper shadow and finished below the cloud here with a shooting star candle. Does that mean it's going to go down for earnings? No, right? Earnings are a binary event, right? They could miss on earnings and still go up. Right, so but here they decided to go down. Okay, so basically, I think they had good revenue. I think they missed on earnings, and they're talking about opening some theme parks in China, the Shanghai Disney, stuff like that, blah blah blah. Anyway, the market's it's down. Okay, so we're down to like 98, 99 right now. So where does that put us? Not too far down. It basically puts us right at the geometric trend line right here. So look for a potential reversal in Disney tomorrow. Typically, I've noticed with Disney, it doesn't really trade well the day after earnings. We've looked at it a few times, and there's always something better that day that manifests instead of Disney. But it's still okay to keep an eye on too. It's been a little bit more active recently with the volatility up, sort of. And love. Let's take a look at love right here. Yeah, so airlines weak today. An engulfing candle right here, so that's pretty bearish right there. Finished towards the lows, and we're kind of chopping around here a little bit after hours. So look at that. I put that on here. So there we go. So let's see if it squeezed anywhere recently. Yeah, it squeezed and then kind of gave a pop-ish, right? So let's take that. I'm going to take that off the study right here. Anyway, cool stuff here. So we're still below the downward trend line, so it's bearish till proven otherwise. I think a break below these lows right here could be interesting. On love, I mean, it's already getting destroyed, right? So why not go lower, right? These airlines are all struggling right now. So good stuff. Nice one on those, Scott. Let's take a look here. What else we got? Ramesh sent in one via Twitter here. So we've got Spot. Okay, so Spot kind of hanging in there. This is your big pivot level that we're looking for. Kind of interesting day. Just couldn't get over that level today and came back down. It's holding the ADMA right here. So it's kind of blah right here. So I mean, we could look and see. I gotta square up there. So let's get the trend lines up here. So it's kind of a little bit blah there, but kind of see if it could work its way out of this this trend, this geometric line right here and get over that pivot level with some volume and see if Spot could try to work its way up a little bit. Good stuff. And then Shirley sent in a few via email. All right. So T popped up on the bearish radar a few times, so I ended up with a gravestone doji today, guys. Basically, just about. I think it's a little bit of a tick to the bottom right there. But opened completely flat today, or closed completely flat today. And it was interesting, right? Kind of popped on the radar right here. Also flush with the rest of the market. It was weak yesterday, too. I had a couple bearish moves yesterday. Got like choppy shadows right here. It's a little bit of a tricky move up. I do like how T likes to respect the 80 MA and the 15, so that does give you a little bit of move right there. But watch out right there on that inside 15 as it broke to the downside. You don't want to be on that side of it, right? Good if you're, riding this thing up. This is a good place to get out right there before the flush happened. So T's looking pretty interesting. We're still in the chop zone on that one, so just be careful with that. LRCX upper shadow today on LRCX. So, again, semis got hit a little bit today, so I tried to fill the gap, couldn't do it. Upper shadow right there, left a gap below. There is a chance that it might come back down and tag that prior inside day right there. DE, John Deere. Deere and Company. Wow, lots of little gravestone dojis today, huh? So, yeah, another doji right here. See if it kind of works its way down. You got the cloud right below, and you got lower pivot right there, so that could be an interesting one as well. MTB. M&T, all right. Guys, be careful with this stuff. A lot of these banks were pretty weak today. I mean, I know it's low volume, but we saw a lot of bearish activity. This was going down before the market went down. Okay, they popped a little bit after hours here. But yeah, so MTB a little bearish right there. Bank of America had some intraday bearish. I mean, all the banks started going down, guys, before the market did. That's a big indicator. The financials are a big indicator on the intraday, right? So that's definitely something to keep an eye on, right, to see what the financials are doing. I mean, they were just weak today. JP Morgan here, Wells Fargo. Okay, a lot of these were just weak today. Okay, so just a weak sector today. So, and when the financials are weak, the market tends to get weak. So just something, as the financials go, so the market goes, so they say sometimes. So it's sort of like the transports for the Dow Jones. Anyway, something to keep an eye on. Big volume too on like this Wells Fargo and those some of the banks today. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Cool stuff. Microsoft. Mr. Softy. Upper shadow today, good volume. Just couldn't get over these pivot levels up here, right? So you had a closing gap here. I think it kind of tagged it and came back down. Also with a Southern Doji today, so we're seeing a lot of that today. So just be careful going into tomorrow. A couple of these may break to the downside depending on what our futures look like going into the open. If we open kind of flattish to downish, we might kind of tag them and drop even lower. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Mike, what's happening? Good to see you. Let's see. So Tesla. All right, so Elon Musk having another baby, I think today, and I don't know what to say with the name and all that. So anyway, so it gapped up here over the inside day, kind of rejected that bump upward trend line there, and came back down, right? So I don't think it quite filled the gap today. Yeah, 762 and then low. So it missed it by 18 cents. So there is still that open gap right there on the inside day. There is a chance that it might want to come back and kind of test that 50% of the level of the inside day. You can see the same thing here. It's off of that double inside day level too. So that's an important level right there, that 730 area. So just kind of keep that on the radar tomorrow. See if it does get weak tomorrow. Just always be careful shorting Tesla because it'll pop on you. I mean, even today it was bearish at the open. We were tracking it here on the live stream this morning, right? It came back down. It's like, yeah, it's looking bearish, and then it gives you this, 14-point pop. I mean, it just got to be careful shorting Tesla, but ask that hedge fund that went insolvent trying to short it, right? So you got that going on there, yeah. So Tesla, take a look at SPY. Yeah, so SPY pretty interesting too, guys. Even less volume than yesterday. So narrowest range day since the Corona crash, and also the lowest volume since the Corona crash too. So that makes for a blah choppy day, right? But it did give a little bit of action at the end of the day. You just had to be there for it. That was kind of the key thing. So we'll see how it goes. It's holding the 80 MA right now, but if the market continues to get weak after hours, we'll see where they gap it tomorrow. Netflix, again, kind of struggling here to get it. It needs to get above this upper trend line. It's struggling, right? It basically tagged it. It was one of the first ones to flush this morning right at the open. It was just like, bleh, kind of gave a little upper shot and bleh. So they tried to gap it, and it just didn't want to do it at the open. So a few of our members caught that short this morning, which was nice on the live stream. Piton, let's take a look. Yeah, so Piton, pretty strong, guys. We've got earnings coming up on Peloton tomorrow after the close. It was definitely on the bullish radar today. It is a tricky one to trade. This is a tough one to day trade, right? Because I think you get like 5-cent spreads off of this one, and it just gives you these crazy shadows. I mean, that's tough to trade, guys, with options. It really is. And then it pulls back nasty, right? Even past the this inside 15 right there, and then it gets over the 15 orb and kind of pops in the close, kind of drifting up a little bit. But very, very tricky stuff. That's what this is a swing stock where if you get some volume, you can kind of try it type thing. So we got some volume today, but it's a little tough into earnings premiums, but something to keep an eye on. I'm very interested to see how they report for earnings. They might say that they did pretty well during the Corona with more people working out from home, stuff like that. So it could be pretty interesting right there. And then UNH. Oh, Mike, good stuff, man. Appreciate it. The Nest, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so UNH inside day up today. Nice move. Low volume, but that doesn't mean it's going to go up today. So it's trying, right? Rejecting a couple of these levels right here. You know, UNH is one that can move once it gets started, but right now it's kind of in the chop zone below that trend line. And then work. How's work doing? Still in the chop zone as well. Eventually we're going to get a breakout candle on this somewhere, but this is just a mess right here. Very, very tricky sideways action. So let's see if that gives us a candle that says it wants to break. Matt, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. BA. BA, getting there. It's getting there. Here's your triangle. It's at the bottom of the triangle. So it's kind of testing lows right there. I mean, again, not really increased volume today, right? So we need something, maybe a breakout candle with some volume, right? Or a breakout candle with some volume, like one way or the other. Let's see if this thing it's getting tight, guys. Let's pull up a TTMSqueeze on this thing, see what it's looking like. Let's get the squeeze on this. Yeah, so it's squeezing. It looks like it wants to release to the downside, right? If that squeeze is released, if that turns green, you know, on a candle, right? That might be a signal to try to take it short. So something to look at there too on that. It's definitely squeezing. So what you can see is that this triangle is telling me exactly the same thing that this indicator is saying, right? So really, I mean, you know, the geometric stuff, in my opinion, you know, trumps, you know, indicators, but the indicator can help give you confirmation, especially if you're not focusing on it directly, right? So it's a cool stuff. But if you see a squeeze, then try to put a geometric on it and see if it makes sense. So anyway, good stuff there. AMD. Yeah, AMD again. A lot of these semis kind of pulled back today. It had a strong candle yesterday on decreasing volume, if you believe that. Gapped up today with the rest of the market and then faded the gap and pushed down pretty hard today intraday and then gave you a lower shadow. So, you know, it did a nice push down at the open, kind of held the 15 order today, and then just with the rest of the market right here is like, so a little bit weak right there. Some might call that, you know, rising wedge type thing, but trend line breakdown, geometric breakdown right there. You don't need to do all the fancy stuff. Just need one line. It's true. All right, good stuff. All right, and then Disney, of course. Yeah, so Disney, again, gapping down a little bit right here. Southern Doji again, or yeah, pretty much Southern Doji, Southern Shooting Star right here. Back into the old triangle range, right, coming out of the cloud. Big volume today, gapping down about 2 points. So that 2 points is going to put us about at the this geometric trend line right here. So see if that holds, and we might get a little bounce off of it tomorrow if the market's not horribly weak tomorrow. So good stuff. Yeah, my pleasure. The Nest, INO. Yep, so failed to take the inside day up, came back 50% of the range, so now let's see if it breaks down below its lows, if it wants to test the prior day's lows on INO as it continues to get tight here in the cloud. ETR. Upper shadow. Right, so interesting stuff, right? So basically gapped down a little bit today, pushed up and kind of came back to the range. Upper shadow right there, be careful there, it's right off of the 50-day moving average. YouTube day. Can you cover the stochastic analysis on SPY as it dropped significantly in the last hour? Yeah, let's take a look at SPY here. So what time frame do you want to look at? We can look at the we can go to the 15 if you want. So let's put a stochastic on there. Put a fast on there if you'd like. Yeah, so big drop here, right on the SPY. Okay, so you know, the stochastic is, you know, this is Williams, you know, calculation, right? So it's a you know, it's basically going to follow kind of the move of the market, right? It is an oscillating type structure, right? And you know, so basically we got to the oversold level, got overbought here, and then flushed again down. So we might see a little bit of a move up, right? And then, you know, see if it comes back down again, right? So that's kind of what we're seeing here on the stochastic. So again, just, you know, it works. You know, sometimes it moves all the way up and doesn't really give a big move, right? So, but it is something to look at too. Again, similarly, if you can find a nice setup on the on your time frame that you're trading on. Clayton, what's going on, my friend? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it, man. Michael, what's going on? Archibald, now. Show me the chart now. All right, I know now has just been ridiculous, hasn't it? It is crazy. It's tough. This one in TTD, these are tough with the options, right? But it did break out above those levels like we were talking about the other day. Once it got above that high, gave a nice burst out to the upside today. So I mean, just super strong, right? This sector was pretty strong. That kind of cloud-ish, computing-ish, Vive, Okta, Splunk, like a lot of those ones were software type stuff were pretty strong today. Nice move on that one. Michael Richter was going, yeah, something happened at 315 for sure. Yeah, so Clarita was talking, right? The Fed's Clarita was talking, and everything he was saying was just bearish. You know, it's like the market's kind of slow chugging its way up, and then he starts talking, right? That's why you don't fight the Fed. Ah, that was water. I promise. Yeah, so he started talking today, and it was just like, bearish, 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 and then, saying like economy bad and all that stuff, and the market's just like, so yeah, so it was pretty funny today, but great setup, great setup. So it's like thank you, Clarita. Guild, that's why you keep stops. That's why you keep stops. Guild, oh my goodness, this chart is a mess. I don't even know how to. I don't even know what this is. It's like you could create a whole book on whatever they're trying to do right here. Red Hammer City. It's all over the place. So it's like bearish, 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 bullish, bearish. Really tricky stuff right here. All I know is that it's basically if we take this geometric line up right here. Right, we're still holding that right there. So it is kind of working on maybe an ascending triangle type, but it is messy. It's hanging on to the 21 EMA right now. See how it holds this geometric line right here. So we got this to this. See if it holds those levels. Okay, good stuff on that one. DGX or GDX? DGX. Oh yeah, Quest Diagnostics. Cool. So a decent move after earnings, right? And then unfortunately pulled back again, right? So it got above the pivot right here, right? So tried to do a gap and go, failed, right? And big reversal and big volume, and it's kind of drifting around after that. This could be bearish, guys. It's coming out here below the trend line. I would say look for a close, bearish close below the ADMA. This thing might be ready to go, guys. This took a big clock to the noggin on this one right here, right? Kind of knocked it off its block. And it's hanging on right here. So, this could be working on a bigger cup and handle, right? So here's your cup. Right, we might be, working on like a handle type thing, right, and see if we can get another breakout up there. But it got clobbered on that one. It's like, like it had big candles and all these moves. It's like, it's like you ever see like those cartoons where someone gets knocked down, the like stars are going around their head. That these look like the stars going around the head right there. But anyway, pretty interesting right there. See if it gets a push below the ADMA. Good, yeah, my pleasure. Cool one. What's going on? Yeah, PLNT earnings tonight. All over the place. It looks kind of flat right here. Their earnings are worse than expected, as you could imagine, right? A lot of less people going out, a lot of less people doing the gyms because they're banned, right? So that stinks. But some places are starting to say that they're going to open gyms like at the end of May, or I think Texas is saying they're going to open them by the 18th with restrictions, whatever that means. So maybe you can only bench press 100 instead of we have a lot of restrictions. Once I put some weights on it, it's been a while. So that's looking pretty interesting there. Let's see how that goes. FTNT, green candle today, good volume. Earnings are tomorrow after the market, so see how that holds there. Getting kind of tight in here, so let's see if it gives us a move off of that. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, Cool Want. Rocky, what's going on? MVIS. Woo! What a move. I know we talked about this yesterday, guys. Yeah, these type of breakout candles on these penny names, right? You just got to be in, right? So you get a big breakout candle like that, you just got to try it. And then you get that nice gap up, right? But these things, it'll flush you out quickly. How did it do it today? Just nasty. At least it chopped around, gave you a chance to get some profit on it. And then it was just like, ugh. That was before the Fed stuff. Anyway, very interesting stuff. It's kind of open and basically about sort of in the middle of the range right there. So crazy day on that one today. Nice one there. And then Oxy. Oxy was strong this morning, guys. The oil looked like it was ready to roll this morning. Looked like it was ready to roll. But not so much right here. So it looks like we had earnings after hours on Oxy. Rejected the 50 moving average. And it looks like they had a little bit of a beat, though. Or maybe. So enough to get it up to basically its midday range. So I don't know. It looks going to be pretty boring for earnings. So it rejected the 50-day moving average. See if we can close above that, and maybe we can get up to the cloud on that one. Otherwise, this oil is getting just clobbered, which stinks. It's good for us. Good for gas. If only we could use the gas. All right, good stuff. ZEK, AGN. Yeah, AGN looks pretty good. Yeah, nice little move up there today. I like that. That's nice enough. Nice enough candle there. It's it's got to contend with that guy there, but it's pretty bullish. I think it's had some good news today, right? So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep AGN on the radar for tomorrow. We've done really well with this one in the past. We caught a gap up on this one on a bullish engulfing bullish weekly engulfing pattern on the weekly in our one of our trade of the weeks, and the thing it was like a 20x trade or something like that the next day. It was pretty incredible. But yeah, so nice candle today on AGN there. SPCE. Earnings tonight, right? Double inside day today. So where did that put it with earnings here? It's kind of all over the place here, a little choppy. It's going to give you a big range to deal with tomorrow. So a little bit sloppy there. See how it handles that double inside day range if it comes back and tests it. OPK, gap up, fade. Again, kind of big selling pressure in this area right here. So kind of upper shadow now and kind of working back into that range there. So be careful with that one. It's got earnings coming up pretty soon. And then GDX. Yeah, I mean, nice move up today, guys. I don't know what to say. It's strong, right? Hit a fresh high here. It's breaking out of the bull flag. These gold ones are tough to trade. The minor, all these are tough to trade for swings. It's like less volume, good candle. Good one to keep on the radar, especially if the market is weak tomorrow. So we will put that on the radar for tomorrow as well. Okay. Good. Awesome. Thank you, ZEK. Jerry, what's going on? Hope you are well. Look at W today. What a move. What a move. So we were talking about this one, right? So we were hoping for a gap and go type move, right? And typically you would see that. It just, what do we look at if it, before we could do a gap and go, what's the one thing we need to look at? Pre-market levels, right? And we couldn't get over the pre-market levels today, right? Give you an inside, inside 15 based on that one. Just kind of worked its way down. So it just faded off of that. So it looks great on the gap up. Then when you come in and you look at those pre-market levels, if you can't get above there, then there's no, there's a limited chance that it's going to gap and go. So it's just kind of chopping around there. See if it defends that gap. Disney again down after earnings. Looks like it's going to gap down to the geometric line right here. In fact, this is the upper trend line. So it looks like it might gap down there. So see if it holds as support for a potential reversal tomorrow. Disney is a little bit tricky to trade intraday. Pins. Oh yeah, pins. So it's a big move on pins today. I think they had less of a loss than expected, and it's down anyway. So there you have it. So win on earnings, and it's down. So now it's down to 17. So 17 takes us about here. So there's a closing gap down here. It might fill right at kind of the 50-day, around that 60. So see if it holds that, and we might be able to catch a reversal off of that tomorrow. And then Zoom. Pretty decent, spinning top here at the ADMA. It's sandwiched here between the 8 and the 21. Again, Zoom, tough. This gave you a good double top today. It's a tricky one to trade intraday. The spreads are kind of blah. It is holding this trend line though, so it's still holding that trend line. So, but the volume is just really getting bad here. So something to keep an eye on that one. So it might be just a volume divergence right there. Here's your up move. There's your down move on volume. Right, so we might see a little bit of a pullback on Zoom. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you for your support. Michael, what's going on? Overstock.com, gap up. This thing has been a monster. From $2 back up to $14. Incredible stuff, guys. A little bit of a miss. It looks like I had a little bit of a miss on earnings. I'm not sure if it was a bad miss. Yeah, just a miss on it, but still looking pretty strong. How's Bitcoin doing, guys? This usually... Doesn't Overstock tend to track the Bitcoin a little bit? Yeah, Bitcoin's been pretty strong recently too, so it tends to go along with that. So that's pretty neat. And then Microsoft, upper shadow today too, increased volume. Just see if we can get over today's highs. Maybe might get a little pop out of there. Jorge, what's going on? Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, doing good. Hope you're well too. Another day, another dollar. Yeah, it was quite an ending today. Sorry you haven't been here. That's all good, man. I always appreciate it when you come in. Finals week for overpriced and very confusing online classes. I hear you. I know. We like these online classes better. Jay Schwartz, what's going on? Apple, you have calls. What do I expect for tomorrow? Hard to say where they're going to gap this thing. We're down 5 points on the futures. It was down. It's up a little bit after hours, so that's good. So see what it does. I mean, it's holding its upward trend line right now. It has good volume. The only tricky part here is you got your upper shadow today to contend with. Right, we're running into a little bit of selling pressure here. So I think if we get over these guys, we get this nice open gap there, and then Apple might really start to cruise through there, right, and retag those highs. So we'll see. We'll see what it has for tomorrow. If the futures are weak and they buy the dip, Apple's a good one to look into, right? It just rejected that whole number level at 301 today. I know. I was hoping Tesla's get to 1,000 today. Yeah, and Elon Musk is a dad. He's a dad anyway, right? He's just having he and his girlfriend. They got a baby, so interesting stuff. So glad the baby's healthy. That's wonderful. Suresh, what's going on? QQQ. Let's see, upper shadow here. Yeah, cup and handle here, working on the cues here. So we broke down below the trend line. I don't think we could quite break above this high right here. That was 220.04. Actually, it looks like we did break it, 220.04, and today we hit 220.14. So we actually do shift this trend line over today, guys. You get to be here for it. Boom, fresh high, fresh trend line, and so we're working in the ascending triangle right here, potential cup and handle pattern breakout. So if tech wants to be strong, that could be good for your Apple, and it could be good for the overall market too. So SMH. Yeah, again, a lot of the semis struggled today, so couldn't quite fill that gap, but found a little gap resistance right there in upper shadow there. So a couple pullbacks in a couple of those names today. But yeah, Q's, hanging in there. They just got to break out for us. Rahul, what's going on? AAL. Yeah, so American Airlines struggling a little bit here. Struggle. Wow, what a day today. Double inside 15 down. And then look at that, quadruple inside 15 down again. So pretty interesting stuff on that one. It's definitely weak. The airlines are overall pretty weak here. And then beyond earnings, they had earnings tonight. Yeah, they had earnings tonight, right? Yeah, they actually had a beat. Yeah, so they're up a little bit here. So Beyond might be an interesting one to trade tomorrow. So keep an eye on the 15 orb on that one. It's not up huge, but it could get some activity tomorrow, especially with the meat shortages going on. That's sort of a alternative meat. If there's no meat, right, you gotta eat something that tastes good, right? So Beyond, I think, is some of our members say it's good. So that's good. All right, so Roku, bull flag still, right? Really, technically, tried to get out of that bull flag today and came back in. The original one, but basically you could stretch it out a little bit, say, hey, it's still working on it. It bounced off of the upper trend line here for a nice move yesterday. Just kind of calmed down today. Rejected the 200 moving average, so we want to see that going on. It's got earnings Thursday after the close, so that should be a fun one for Friday. Good stuff, Rahul. Yeah, my pleasure, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Heather, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. Hello, hello. B, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. ATVI, let's take a look. ATVI with earnings tonight. They had good earnings. I think EA had good earnings and they're down, but ATVI is up to 72 after hours. So nice move on ATVI. It's been strong recently. It's a tough one to trade, though, on a swing trading basis. Just so many up and down moves. So, yeah, we could be seeing a gap and go on ATVI tomorrow. So keep an eye on that tomorrow if it gets over those pre-market highs. Right? We could see a nice move out of there. It's a little bit tricky, a little bit spready on the intraday, but it could give us a move. It's been notorious for pulling back and bouncing intraday. So that's good. Dave, what's going on? Tesla. Pop over the VWAP at 3 today. Nice. And then drop and pop again. Yeah, it's all over the place. All over the place today. So nice little, it got tight here for a while. Gave you a nice little breakout move right here. Pulled back. You didn't have the volume on this, though, so that's one of the big issues right there. Pulled back, held, and then popped, and then the quick reversal. Very, very tricky stuff today on Tesla. Hands off. Hands off on that one. But yeah, some of our folks caught it short this morning. It made sense this morning a little bit here. We had that nice inside 15 down. Catch a momentum move there. Other than that, yeah, some sloppy mess. It was tough. Cool on team. Good. Nice gap up. Nice gap and go today on team. Again, we talked about that if it got over those highs. Yeah, nice move on that one today. Upper shadow here today, but good volume the last couple days. Again, this sector has been really bullish here. Yeah, and then that CLDR, this whole sector has been pretty strong. So CLDR though didn't really participate in that. It's got to at least get over something, right? So we got a couple geometric lines right here. So just keep an eye on those. See if we could break one way or the other. Good. Jay Kosak, good evening. Hope you're doing well. Samir, what's going on? Nice move on SE today. Let's take a look. Yeah, nice little gap and go move today on C Limited. I like it. Nice little break above those areas there. So looking pretty good. Upper shadow today. Just be careful with that one. Very nice. Yeah, and possible mid-80s on Diz. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so it's got to clear this trend line first, right? After that trend line, it is possible got a nice open gap down there. So that could be a good one. Remember, we talked about gaps, open gaps on gaps a couple weeks ago. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on there. Michael, what's going on? Zoom. Holding the upper trend line, low volume today. Just be careful, right? Diversion on the volume there. So, just definitely want to keep an eye on there. Pacey. Pacey with a gap up there. Looks like it might be starting to work on some sort of flag type pattern here. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on. Nice bullish move after earnings. So just a possible pullback right there. And Pan W. Look at this Pan W. What was that? Look at that. We had a old trend line up there. Anyway, it's coming back to an interesting level right here, but we do have this kind of cup and pattern-ish handle forming right here. So if it does break out, we got this huge gap above, 200-day above it. So that could be an interesting one in Pan W. What's up, fam? Good to see you. Accelerator. Good stuff. The scan. Matt, what's going on? What's up for work? How about, yeah, so work is struggling, right? It's just in the chop fest right here. So kind of a possible head and shoulders-ish pattern, right? It's got to break out of these guys up here, really, for it to move. Otherwise, it's just in this nasty congestion zone right now, so it's just a little bit tough in here. It does give some intraday pops, but a bit struggle right there. Reed, yeah, you got to start somewhere. Good to see you. Kevin, URI with a pullback there on United Rentals. Let's see, this is a tricky one right here. So, kind of a cup and handle-ish type pattern working. It did have this cup and handle going. It did pop out of it. Now it's coming back retesting that neckline. So see how it holds right there. Otherwise, it might come back to the cloud a little bit. So URI is a tricky one. Desari, what's going on? Shop. Oh, yeah, Shop with earnings tomorrow morning. Definitely want to keep an eye on it right there. I mean, this thing has been a monster, right? Does it have more in it? It could. If this thing goes, guys, tomorrow, if anything's going to gap and go, if Shop gaps above this 705 area and gets above his pre-market levels, Shop could just run. I don't know where they're going to gap it tomorrow, but this thing is just on fire. This thing's a monster. Of course, if it misses, it'll just come back down and just kind of chop around all that stuff. But let's see what they got in store. I would love it to just give us a 100-point move to the upside tomorrow. That'd be pretty cool. Michael, yeah, Docu, epic. This thing has been epic. It was epic here, right? And it didn't really get hurt too much on the Corona crash, right? It's kind of like a social distancing type tool, right? You can sign stuff without meeting up with people, right? So it came right down the 200-day and bounced off of it, and just epic. A little bit choppy and sloppy, but it's still up there. It's doing its thing. Rochelle, what's going on? ENPH. This thing's been pretty strong too. I mean, it had an epic run up too, and it did pretty good, right? Did pretty good here. A couple days ago, it had a nice little breakout move and good follow through on that one. And then today, it's got earnings after hours. See how it's doing here. Just chopping around in there. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll get really tight and then give an expansion move off of the compression. Yeah, sorry, Shop. Yep, just looked at that. Hopefully, we'll get an epic gap and go tomorrow. That would be good. And Dave, yeah, Coop. Again, this sector has been really, really strong, right? So nice gap over these levels right here. Decent gap and go type move today. Good volume. So just look for relative strength in there and see if you can get some movement on it. Just steady. A lot of these upper shadows here at the open. Shop did the same thing, but just a strong move today. Pulled back with everything else a little bit for an upper shadow, but strong trending moves today. Ankit, first time here. Good. Well, I'm happy you made it, man. Yeah, everything's good. Technical chart tutorial video. If you go to my playlist, if you go on YouTube and just click on playlists, I got so many different playlists on there that talks about different types of charts. So I would go into the price action ones, the price action videos, lots of good ones there. Some fun different chart type setups, things like that. Definitions of types of candles. I do a whole candlestick series, so definitely go through those playlists there for sure. But yeah, we can do some more stuff on that in the future. And then BA. June calls. That's not horrible because we know one thing, that it's hard to keep BA down long. They tried, right? It came down, big move with the Corona crash, but once it was down, got real tight, huge move up, right? Big move up in that. Now it's getting really, really tight again, and it's tagging the bottom of the triangle right there. So, if it doesn't break down and give a breakdown move out of the triangle, this thing could launch. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Jorge, yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, TTMSqueeze is interesting. I hope you guys found that educational. Yeah, and keep an eye on Boeing with it too. Absolutely. So good stuff, guys. Well, good. Well, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight, and thank you so much for your continued support. Be sure to Boeing YouTube Day, Baba. Yeah, so Baba, pretty interesting right here. It did gap up today, with the market gap up right here, but it's looking like a couple little Kilroy pattern right here. You got the two eyes on the nose. So just keep an eye on upper shadow at the 50. It may come back and test the 200 if the market's weak, especially if China tensions increase. So yeah. So good. So if you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube. Also good to click on the bell, to ring the bell on it, so you get notified when we go live. We go live every market night. Also be sure to hit the like button. We like to get as many likes as possible, and also check out the links in the description to our Twitter page and to our website. So good stuff. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the chart requests and questions. I hope everybody has EUD. Let's see, Hal, another oil one there. Yeah, oil gapped up today. Looks like it was ready to roll, and then they pulled back. Still holding the 80 MA in the cloud. So see if that gets can get some strength there. See if it gets back over $10. So good. Good stuff. Archibald, yeah, my pleasure. Rochelle, yeah, thank you guys. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And again, subscribe, hit the like button, and check out the links in the description. I hope everybody has a great night. Stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.